As a four-sport star athlete and quarterback of his Holliston High football team, Kevin Balewicz was used to having a leg up on his competition. But after a rare complication to an on-field injury, Kevin needed a clutch assist from his Tufts Medical Center doctors to help save his leg. In March of 2021, Kevin injured his left leg during a football game at Norwood. He'd dealt with sports injuries before, including a torn ACL in his right knee on the same field less than 18 months earlier. And at first, this one didn't seem too serious in comparison.
He saw the trainer, seemed okay. He went to practice, seemed okay. But then when he was coming home from practice is really when it blew up and the pain went from probably a low single digit to a 10.
My foot literally felt like it was on fire. It just burnt so much. And then the pain just rushed up my calf, and it just felt like it was just gonna burst.
3 days post-injury, Kevin's parents took him to the ER of their local hospital, which eventually transferred him to Tufts Medical Center. That's where Chief of Sports Medicine, Dr. Matt Salzler, first examined Kevin's leg.
It was a little bit discolored, a little bit dusky. It did look a little swollen. He had some lost sensation, some lost motor. He wasn't able to move his big toe.
The signs and symptoms weren't textbook, but Dr. Salzler was confident he knew what was wrong with Kevin's leg. A condition called compartment syndrome, dangerous buildup of pressure in a muscle, and they needed to act fast to save his leg.
Compartment syndrome is one of the true orthopedic emergencies. It requires emergent orthopedic intervention. And if that doesn't happen on an immediate basis, it can lead to death of muscle, death of nerves, inability to use the limb, and even amputation.
And the first time the doctor mentioned possible compartment syndrome, we didn't know what that was. He wanted his phone, and I didn't want to give him his phone, and I finally gave him his phone, and he said, "Oh my God, I'm going to lose my leg."
Compartment syndrome is uncommon and hardly ever presents several days after an injury, as in Kevin's case.
We see a handful a year. Most of the time it's with other major injuries such as fractures of the lower leg. In injuries like Kevin's, it's far more rare in that type of injury that we may see that once a year or once every other year.
At first, because it was such an unusual presentation, I was about 95% sure. And so I called up to the operating room and said, "Hey, let's get this ready in an emergency."
I didn't want the operation. I was sort of convinced that it wasn't compartment syndrome at the time, and I was sort of resistant to him at first. And he said, "Look, Greg, if we perform the surgery and I'm wrong, we'll sew him back up and we'll move forward from there. But if I'm right and we don't perform the surgery, he will lose his leg." I trusted him, and I said, "That's what we have to do."
The doctors at Tufts especially did a very good job of calming me down, saying I'll be fine. So I was scared, but I was hearing good things, so I was confident that it'd go well.
In the operating room, Dr. Salzler opened up Kevin's leg, and his suspicions were confirmed.
There are 4 different compartments in the leg. There are the 2 compartments in the back, and there's 2 in the front. In the front one, there's one called the anterior and one called the lateral. And in the lateral compartment, all the muscles were unfortunately completely dead.
But there was some good news.
Of the 4, I guess if you have to pick one to lose, that would be the one to lose.
And Dr. Salzler's quick decision may very well have been a limb-saving one.
The anterior compartment, which is the compartment that's responsible for bringing your leg up and down, that muscle was sort of in the process of dying, but it wasn't dead yet, so it's salvageable.
We probably had an hour or less time to be able to save that compartment and preserve his ability to walk.
When Kevin woke up post-surgery, there was only one thing on his mind.
Well, I checked my leg to see if it was there, and it was, so I was happy, and I was still kind of loopy from the anesthesia and the other drugs I was on, so I just took my phone and I started sending weird texts of how happy I was, and my leg's still there.
He was grateful for so long after that at least I have my leg. He said that over and over to anyone who talked to him about it. At least I have my leg.
Senior Kevin Balewicz!
From there, Kevin's motivation and competitive drive kicked in, and his recovery progressed at lightning speed. Less than 2 months after his limb-saving surgery, Kevin was able to play in a varsity baseball game for Holliston High. and legged out a single in his first at-bat.
I think Kevin's a pretty special kid. He did not only as well as I thought he was going to do, he did even better. And it was really exciting to see that. Yeah, makes me feel good.
The outcomes of people who get compartment syndrome, in big picture, unfortunately aren't great. So the recovery that he's had is unbelievable. Because most people can't get back to anything resembling this even 2 years after sustaining compartment syndrome.
Kevin's recovery progressed so quickly, he was able to take a special vacation his family had planned before heading off to Virginia Tech in the fall.
That's actually one of the first things he did ask when he woke up. He said, I have this golf trip at Pebble Beach. And he's like, is there any chance I can do that? I remember thinking, I think so. And I remember saying, I hope so.
Things happen for a reason, and I think he believes that, and he just grinds through and keeps the most positive attitude out of anybody I've ever met.
Now in his first semester of college, Kevin has virtually no limitations. And he and his family are extremely grateful for the quick thinking and excellent care he received at Tufts Medical Center to help get him there.
I mean, it's pretty impressive given what happened for them to make it as enjoyable as it was, because the moment after surgery when I got wheeled into my room, I just had the best care from the nurses to the surgeons.
We get a lot of these cases, so we have experience dealing with them. But we also have the advantage of being a little smaller, and that allows us to be a little bit more nimble.
Getting things done here and getting things done here quickly with multiple services is easy because we work well together. We care about not only our patients, but we care about each other.
I would just express sincere gratitude and
Yes.
thanks to the team of doctors in Tufts Medical Center in the orthopedic area. It really is remarkable, and the amount of support that they continue to provide for him to this day. So just a lot of thanks for the team there.